Hello everyone, Teacher here, and welcome back to another video. Today I want to talk about glyphs. I know everyone else has covered it, but I want to take it from a little bit different perspective, and then I have some cool announcements. So if you're ready, let's take a closer look. So we're going to start off with the announcement, and the announcement is that I will be part of the developer Q&A on Tuesday, where I'll get to ask some questions. So if you thought of a good one, then drop it in a comment down below, and who knows, maybe I'll take it along. So glyphs are glyphs basically, and many people have actually covered this already. So I've been sick for the last 2 days, which is kind of why you haven't seen me cover it yet, but we'll go through it now, and I'm gonna take it from a little bit different perspective. So here we have the major and the minor sets. Now the thing is, for a major set to work, you need to have 4 glyphs slotted into your weapon. You have a total of 6 glyph. Whoa, sorry, the sickness there. Um, you have 6 slots of glyphs where you need 4 for a major, so you can do 1 major and 1 minor, or because a minor is 2, or you can do 3 minor sets. So the sets are as follow. Limbus on wave start, gain 1 stamina. The first time each ability is used in a wave, gain 1 stamina. Now, I would assume this is for the ability that is actually used, and then it seems like this is a one turn off. So there are some abilities in the game that could really benefit from this. Like for instance, Tibeb is actually one of them. I'm thinking she might be worthwhile for this because her haste is a 2 turn. That she cleanses, she has heal, etc., and she helps with a slow Haradrim squad. So that could be a good one for her. Last stand in each wave. This the first time this character falls below 25% health, gain 100% turn meter, dispel 3 banes, and gain 1 stamina. Now this with a wave, I'm really curious how this will work in chapter 3, because right off the bat this seems like this is the go-to for tanks. If like the different waves, how do we count waves? So I'm really curious about this. Vitality, whenever this character is critically hit and has fewer than 3 stacks of regeneration, gain 1 stack of regeneration for 1 turn. This could honestly be good for someone like Boromir, because his immunity means that he can stand during tank, he can get a crit hit, and then when he gets his next turn, then you would actually have 3 stacks of regen, and that would grant him a fair bit of health. And there are some other teams as well, so... Withering, whenever this character inflicts a Bane on their turn, they deal 15% true damage, limit once per turn per target. True damage, damage that cannot be crit or be blocked, and ignores armor and vulnerability. So this is basically something that you want to use on the high damage DPS dealers for the Balrog on the Cave Troll. Off the top of my head, I'm thinking Elro here, I'm thinking Eomer, Bulk for those who use him, if you use one of the trolls, that one as well. And there are some few other ones, like EF2 for instance, for Haradrim. Frodo, Strider, but we kind of like go off the rails here. Then we have the minor sets, who are actually sounding really, really cool. One thing they have done in the post is that they say major sets should have a major benefit over minor sets, so it's a little bit interesting. Bloodlust, whenever this character defeats an enemy, gain 30% turn meter. Lifestealer, gain 2% lifesteal. Not that much, but 6% lifesteal overall could be nice. Depends where you use it though. Raider, deal 2% more damage against enemies with more than 50% health. This is nice. Again, Elro here, this would be really well for him. Shield Wall, whenever this character has taunt or provoked, take 3% less damage. I'm honestly thinking for chapter 3, based on what we see now, you just slap this on tanks and they take less damage. For those who have immunity, like Elladan or Boromir, for instance. Now this one could actually work really great with this one, because you take less damage, and then you also make sure you get in the turn meter, you dispel. Someone like Wubate could actually benefit from this combined. Armor Piercer, gain armor piercing Honestly, at the moment, we don't know everything, but I'm more thinking like Raider over armor piercer because this is damage and that could be more viable in the long run because we have to invest into these to level them up. So if you also use in PvP, there isn't that much armor. It's mostly in raids, but maybe it will be worth it. It remains to be seen. Now this is how it looks like for the stats. But potential stats are as follows: one per slot. So we have one primary stat for each slot, and then we have up to 4 secondary stats on each glyph, so a total of 30 if you combine the 6 primary with the 24 secondary. So slot 1 is health, that is a given, damage, armor. Now I'm curious about if there's an RNG spectrum here, like let's say you gain 200%, 200 points at the lowest, and then a perfect roll is 100, is like 300 points. Because when I look at this, the thing that I'm most curious about is actually the secondary stats because they are percentage. So there might be a reason to go for really perfect secondary stats. Then you have damage, armor, health, damage, armor, focus. So here you can see like it's basically swapped, like you can get 2 resistance or 2 focus, and then you can have basically a lot of health, damage, armor. So it depends on a lot of squads, like the Dol Guldur, to quote Swag, is like for Rekha, you would just basically maybe do health due to the scaling, and then you would want secondary stats also with health. And that's one thing that I'm wondering and that I might want to ask is, can you get multiple of the same secondary stats on it? I'm probably gonna ask that because I'm really curious about this due to it has speed. Like maybe you can't get speed, but there's block mitigation, there's block chance, percentage crit value, and yes, now we're just gonna take it from bottom to the top. And then there's crit damage, crit chance, resistance, focus, armor, damage, health. So these are actually really interesting because they are percentage, so they scale. One other thing that I'm wondering is uh, let's take Eothane passive, for instance, where he gains health. Will this health be calculated before, or will everything be off the base? Like, there are a lot of interesting things here, and I'm looking forward to the Q&A with the developers. Speaking of which, I wouldn't be a part of that if it weren't for all of you guys out there. So really thank you for liking and sharing the videos out there. Hit that subscribe button also if you haven't already. It really means a lot to me, and I'm deeply honored that it's part of you guys out there and girls that I'm able to be invited and partake on Tuesday. So it should be really interesting. Now here I'm thinking off the top of my head, speed, of course you want perfect speed because speed is gonna be king, especially for arena. Then you probably want focus for the troll because you want to land crits. And that is basically stuff, someone like Lomian, for instance, who isn't that high value at the moment. So there is him. And then we see there's some damage that could be nice as well. And then I would probably go with crit chance, like because getting the crit damage is nice, but both on the Balrog and on the Cave Troll, I feel it's more important to actually just get the crit, especially on the Cave Troll. So focus and crit chance is what I would go with. Like, let's say someone like Haradrim, who were basically sold for the team for the Cave Troll, I would probably do speed. That's a given. Make sure you have perfect speed because they are quite slow. Then I would do crit chance on basically all of them except for Tebeb. Then I would also do focus, and then I would either do damage or crit damage. It depends, because they do have a way to stack up a lot of crit. Whereas for someone like Legolas, who and other teams where you can gain deadly or advantage, even you would want to go for crit damage and pure base damage. So you would actually skip the crit chance. And this leads me nicely into the next thing I want to talk about, which is the levels. I did it like this. So starting level 1, you don't get anything basically. You just have your primary stat. Then in level 2 to 5, you get your secondary stats revealed. This costs gold only to get this. I'm really curious how much gold it costs. If it's not that much, then that's actually quite nice because you can always sell the glyph again if you saw, oh, it didn't get the ones that I wanted, and that is something that we really need because gold might become a bottleneck again if this is too much, and we get the primary stat increase. And here you can see the rarity, which is just called stone, and then at level 6 it becomes gilded. So if you have seen the actual blog post, which I'm sure you have, then the edges are kind of like gilded, where you can see they're shiny. So here you would probably get a nice stat increase in your primary stat. This could be a way to also make sense that there's no secondary effect at level 6. Then there is the additional rolls from 7 to 10. Now, from 6 and onwards, like to go from 5 to 6 and then up, what you need actually is something called spells. There are scrolls, there are 3 different kinds. They have showed these. Now, I'm a little bit curious about the accessibility of these. They are gonna be able to be bought, they've told us, and you can also get them from raids. And they mentioned the supply store, so that's actually something like I buy essences that I can't farm and blue materials that I know I need for certain characters. I always buy that with my goal in my supply store when it refreshes, and this is something I think we should all buy when we see them, especially early on, because we need to farm characters as well. Like we still have characters and other stuff we need to farm. And that is the sad part, that based on what we know at the moment from the post, is that it's gonna be farmable on normal nodes and hard, light, and shadow nodes. So this is really sad for me, and I think for most people. If I were to be devil's advocate and see it from a CG perspective, I guess they put it like that to make new players, when they go along, then they collect glyphs as well. One thing I am, however, really focused about is the drop chance, because if we have to spend our energy on farming something that we probably are gonna need for difficulty 4 and 5, at least difficulty 4 in some raids. Isengard maybe could do a difficulty 4 on the troll. Then we really need a good drop rate. Otherwise, people are gonna be really frustrated, and CG is gonna be hit by a boomerang effect, which I really hope they won't. And also, of course, that we can buy them in the store. That should be nice. I believe they will probably be even to Essence in gold. I don't think they'll be that expensive, but I'm really curious. Also, they told us that it's gonna be available in Raid. I wonder if it will be the Raid store or if it will also get added to the chests, but we'll see based on that. So the last part right here is I've actually gone ahead and taken Haradrim as an example because I feel they will be really great with the glyphs for all chapters. Like they can score 900k in chapter 1, chapter 2, they can do pretty well as well, and I think the glyphs will help them massively in chapter 3, and the Balrog they should also be doing pretty well. So basically we have Robel, Yevtu, Tebeb, Bekelu, and Wubite. Just quick notes here: a good mix of speed, damage, and focus, high damage, fast and support, good mix of speed, damage, and focus, tank. So, as I said before, you probably want crit chance, speed, and focus on them, and damage as well is what I think you would want on these characters. To Beb, you may want to go with health instead, because that way she heals more. And I've just added a suggestion here: Last Stand for Chapter 3, along with Wubite, Withering on these two. Him because he's quite slow, but he does a lot of damage, so if he is the one who inflicts the true damage, that will be even more. Bekelu is also pretty good as well, because she has a lot of Banes to inflict, so you can kind of like swap between them. And then Lembas for Tebeb to get the additional cool stamina for your haste ability, your special 2. And yeah, but we'll see when they actually have released them. Then that should be very, very interesting. So that's it for me, everyone. Drop a comment down below if there's something you would like to know that you are thinking about as a question, and then maybe I will ask it when I'm part of the Q&A. And drop a like if you've enjoyed this video, and I'll see you all in the next one.